Angry guy here, and women are furious that men now value themselves more than they value women. Guys, help me get to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel if you already have it, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video from me ever again. Now let's begin. Women are furious that men now value themselves more than they value women. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the first video.
Something sick has happened in the world where men are acting like they're the prize, like they are the princesses. Like we have to approach them and make the plans and pay for half the date. Absolutely not. Women are still the prize. And if you read the Bible, it says he who finds a wife finds a good thing. It doesn't say she who finds a husband finds a good thing. So
it doesn't say that. And now that we're such Christians again.
Yeah.
Guys, can you imagine this? So they're trying to get biblical. They're trying to say that it is biblical that a man must chase after a woman, that a man is simply going to value a woman for her presence. What she doesn't consider is that biblically, a woman must submit to her husband. A woman must serve her husband. A woman must provide utility in the marriage. A woman must ensure that her chastity is in check. So high body counts is a significant issue. Those are terms for rejection. A woman must be submissive. She must be obedient. She must be agreeable. There are many different things that go into the Bible that are said about the relationship between men and women. She should be feminine. She must serve her man. So she must cook. She must clean. She must create value in the relationship. That is the definition of a woman in the Bible. Those are the basic and core definitions. This is why I always warn you guys to stay out of the church, because as times get worse, these women will run to the church and then they will turn around and use the church to try to say that the church requires, or rather God requires, that you take a wife and that you honor your wife and that you're essentially obedient and submissive to your wife. That's what these women are saying, that a man must be obedient and submissive to his wife and provide her with protection, with money, with his value, and expect nothing from her in return, because biblically, God says that by her simply being in the relationship with him, that's enough. Her simple presence is enough. She thinks that she is a blessing from God. Women think that they are blessings from God to a man, and that as a result, they do not need to do anything. They do not need to work on themselves, their personalities, or anything. They believe that they were put here by God to be worshipped by man. How absolutely insane is this? Think about what happened between Adam and Eve. When Adam and Eve, after Eve sinned, were put out of the garden. If Eve did not have Adam to go out and to work and to labor and to do these things, she could not survive in the world. Let's talk about it a bit further. Imagine if Adam and Eve were not the only two people on earth. We talk about Lilith, evidently, who was Adam's first wife, they say. If she actually existed or didn't exist, doesn't matter, because the story goes that she didn't want to actually be intimate with Adam in the way that he wanted her to be. She did not want to submit to him. So she took off from the garden and then went and got physical with a bunch of demons and had a bunch of demon babies. So that's not someone he would want to deal with again in the first place. But think about this. After Eve caused Adam to get kicked out of the garden because he ended up choosing his wife over God, he would be angry. Now imagine if there were other women on earth at that time. Imagine if there was a woman like Sarai out there in the world after Adam got kicked out of the garden. Sarai would have been like, listen, Adam, you don't have to tolerate that. You don't have to tolerate that, okay? We will compete for you out here. You are a man of value and class. You do not have to. Look at what she did. She got you kicked out of the garden. You had everything. She messed your life up, all right? You don't have to tolerate with this nonsense. You don't have to tolerate. We will compete for you. Do you think Adam would have stuck around with Eve? Guys, Eve would have literally passed away in the wilderness in extraordinary states of destitution. The level of suffering she would have experienced would have been profound. Guys, she would not have clothing because, well, God did provide them with clothes, but how long was that going to carry her? She would not have food because man had to go and labor to provide food. So even though God provided the initial clothing for them, Adam had to learn how to provide for Eve. He had to learn how to create. He had to learn how to take shelter, how to do all of these things. The woman didn't do these things. It was the man who had to go and sacrifice. Then he had sons, and he had to teach his sons with just from the bare skills that he had gained on his own. Learning how to plant, learning how to raise animals, learning how to process animals into food. How did his children learn to do this? Think about that very carefully. And of course, guys, I love God. God is good. And I acknowledge God, that I believe that God obviously was with Adam and Eve, and he taught Adam these things, and he likely taught Cain and Abel these things. But Adam had to actually go out there in the world and create value. Did God create every bit of clothing for Adam and Eve after they left the garden? Did God provide every bit of food for them after they left the garden? Or did Adam not have to learn to provide? And what did Eve do? She couldn't do anything other than have children. And once she was pregnant, back in those days, there were no doctors. So Adam had to stick very close to her. Who delivered the baby? Adam had to be right by her. If God himself didn't deliver the baby, if God did not send angels to deliver the babies, then who delivered the babies? That means it would have to be Adam. Guys, you have to wake up and realize you are the ones with the intrinsic value. Women are frightened. They are frightened because they realize that men are now waking up to the fact that they're the ones with the value. They're the ones with the prize. When you go and you meet a woman, you have the value. You are a provider. You are a protector. So she's not going to deal with you unless you have the ability to provide and protect her. She's supposed to take you out on a date. She's supposed to show you that she's going to create value in the relationship. Because ultimately, once you're in that relationship with her, it's going to flip. You're going to be the one providing and protecting her right off the bat. She gains that up front. So what is she going to do? She has to show you that she will provide some value. She's going to create value in that relationship. Because a man comes to the relationship with his value, the woman has to create her value in the relationship. She can do that by cooking, by not just cooking any meals, but exceptional meals. She can do that by cleaning, and not just cleaning, but doing exceptional cleaning and creating an environment that is peaceful and inviting for her husband, who has to go out into the world and fight in the world each and every single day and do battle, and then come home tired. So instead of having to go at, be at war, fight one battle out there, and then just fight another battle at home with his wife, he doesn't want to do that. He's better off alone. Rather, she needs to create an environment that he wants to come home to. She needs to make his kingdom comfortable for him. That his home is his domain. That's his domain. Everything that he has built, his wealth, his home, his family, all of that is his empire. And if she wants to be a part of that empire, then she has to continually create value, because without the state being able to extract value from a man, if he leaves his wife, what happens? If the man has a house, if he has wealth, if they have children, think about it logically. And you don't have a system where, just like in Africa and Mexico, where you have different forms of marriage contracts. And one of the contracts is basically whatever the man brings into the relationship and creates in the relationship, that's his. So she cannot get access to that. He leaves with whatever he has and whatever he's created in the relationship. She leaves with whatever she has, what she's created in the relationship. And typically speaking, it is intriguing because the man, this usually the person who has the ability to provide the most for the children, who get the children. And a lot of men in Western society, if given the option, if it's not a Chad or a Tyrone, I want you to think about it. Most men aren't going to give up their children to a woman. They're going to hold on to their kids. They will cut back their hours at work. They will get remote jobs. They'll do whatever they have to do. They'll put their kids, they'll set it up so that, their kids may have nursery or whatever. They'll do whatever they have to do to keep their kids close by. While women complain and cry about, oh, being a single mother is this and that, men would be happy and thrive. Men will thrive as single fathers. They will structure their lives so that, when they're not available, when they're working, their kids are in nursery or an after school program, and they'll pick up their kids when they're done. And they'll go home and see their kids in the evening. And they'll prepare dinner for their kids. They'll be celebrating. Daddies will be having a damn good time. My kids are here. I'm going to go home. Men are more than happy to prepare lunch in the morning, breakfast in the morning for their kids, pack lunches for their kids. And not only are they going to pack lunches for their kids, dads operate different than moms. Dads get creative. So dad is going to think very carefully about that lunch. So in other words, when we were growing up, school lunches were crap. So dad's going to say, well, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give my kid like a lunch that's so sick, the other kids are going to be jealous. Like how they have those bento boxes in Japan? Men are so bad, like so serious. Dudes will start comparing, like, okay, so I need to put the lunch together for my kid. I'm going to design a lunch where, it's a special box and like there's like it's a Dragon Ball Z box, bento box. And when my kid opens it up, it's going to be like this. And I'm also going to take into consideration, the time frame when they're going to eat. I'm also going to make enough so that, if their friends want to taste some of that, they absolutely can. I'm going to mix it up like that. They're going to think about the livelihood of their children. They're going to think about how their kids are doing in school, how they can build the social proof of their kids. They're going to teach their kids how to excel in high school, how to make friends, how to make connections, how to create value. Dad's going to do all of these things that mom is not doing because mom doesn't provide guidance. So dad is going to build his kids into the best possible version of themselves without the woman involved. The truth is that women actually bring men down in the relationships. Men are better off in many cases as single fathers because they would be focused on optimizing the lives of their kids. So by the time they're done, their kids are going to create empires. Their kids enter into the real world. They have these skill sets intact. Dad sees that, okay, so you know what? College is not for my kid, and I'm not sending them if they don't have a real purpose. And medicine is not for them either. So we're going to work towards working on their skill sets. My kid likes cars. Okay, so you know what? We're going to take you, and you're going to get a certification in body work. And now that you have your certification in body work, because you like different aspects, you're going to go out there and you're going to start making $60 an hour doing body work. That is going to plan ahead for their future. And he's going to teach them financial literacy. He's going to have the best kids in the world. He's going to teach his daughters about their marketplace value and about, why they don't want to do things like mess around with OnlyFools, because what they're going to do is they're going to sell their futures for instant gratification in the present. Guys, men have the real value. Men don't need women to survive. In fact, like I said, you get rid of that whole marriage contract issue and you get rid of child support, and women have nothing because the man will walk out of the relationship, out of the marriage at any time. Like in other countries, he'll take everything he has. He'll take the kids along with him. And the woman will be left in poverty and destitution because she has nothing from the marriage. Think about that. Men are the prize. Men are the ones who enter the marriage they enter the relationship with the value. And without the court system, the family court system, the civil court system, the criminal court system, without them being able to extract wealth and resources or work with the woman to extract wealth and resources out of the man in the form of child support and alimony and division of property, the man will walk into the relationship and walk out of the relationship with his children and his empire in tow. In reality, it's the woman who will be put out of his life and out of his empire. This is the reality that men are now waking up to. That's why they're going overseas and they're realizing that they can build their empire, they can have their cake, eat it too, and live the best lives possible. Guys, women are furious and men now value themselves more than they value women. If you want to help me get to 100,000 subscribers, Subscribe to the channel if you already have not. Like the video and turn on notifications to never miss another video. Again, let me know what you think regarding everything we discussed today in this video. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA and walking away. And cheers.